in Turkey. We are the first and the only the one. How can I say? We are making these hemp products in Turkey. Hello.
Çocuk mu?
Word'um nerede benim ya?
Word açayım Word.
And
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
Go ahead.
I want to show you our products if you want to. Birkaç ayakkabı.
Sırasıyla göster.
Mhm. So we have lots of products in right now. So this is 100% hemp products, shoes in Turkey. We have 4 other colors. So green, tan, taba, blue, and black. This is the taba color. The black one.
Those are really nice.
Oh, thank you very much.
So you make them in Turkey?
Yes.
Burada Jekerer yazıyor çünkü Jekerer çok güzel
Yes.
keneviri savundu ve
Tam bir dakika.
Jack Herrera?
Jack Herrera, the hemp activist.
Way.
Yeah.
onu seviyoruz yani.
We give the name of our models because we appreciate this
Bu
wonderful person. This is the blue one.
And you sell them on a website or in retail stores?
In website, yes. We have also an Instagram page and a website also, Facebook and YouTube too.
Bağcıklar %100 el örmesi kenevir.
So here you can see all of the products is hemp.
Wow.
Şimdi birazcık daha farklı şeylere geçelim.
And bir dakika. Just a second. Word nerede burada? Oops.
Burada.
Okay. Cool. And this is hemp shoes too with full fabric here and in the back and the other
Bu vegan
way.
değil.
This is not vegan actually. Other shoes are vegans.
These look great. Maybe people should put their website in the chat as well or something like that.
Vegan bir ürün geliyor.
And this is 100% of vegan, even another model. We have all of them in our website and Instagram page.
Evet. Şimdi
So this was the shoes,
kemer
and
de var. Onu göstereyim.
we made also some belts. I have actually three colors next to me. The natural one, blue and taba, but we have also black and other colors as well. This is also hemp fabric. And yesterday we finished our
Muhteşem bir şort. Muhteşem yani.
textile ones. I mean shorts and
%100.
shirts. This is also 100% of hemp
Işık
fabric.
var. Ha, ışık. Okay.
And it's grown in Turkey as well, the hemp?
No, it's we bought these fabrics in Europe, not in Turkey, because in Turkey there is no machines to do fabrics. I mean, there is lots of hemp growing here, but there is no machines to make fabrics.
Yani
Okay.
istediğimiz kalitede ürünü çıkartamadık,
Aynen,
değil mi?
aynen.
Okey. Şu şeyi de gösterelim.
Is CBD currently legal in Turkey?
No,
Şu an
that's
Türkiye'de
nice.
CBD,
unfortunately.
şu an
No,
Türkiye'de
it's not.
CBD
So just the hemp for clothing and products?
Even with our logo, we get some problems with Instagram and WhatsApp
bu da
to make a page, but
Anladım.
right now there is no problem.
Okay.
because it's not legal. And this is the shirt.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Thank you. Şeyleri zeytin ağacı ve
Aynen.
tamamen vegan.
The buttons produced from the print branch of the olive tree. There is 100% vegan as well. These shirts and shorts as well.
Tamam. Short da vegan.
Aynen, short da vegan.
Son 2-3 mesela şey var. Boots var.
And we are doing R&D works about this, but these shoes. What did you answer?
Bot. Bakayım mı?
No, it's okay.
Suluk
This also-
havalar için.
This is nano waterproof. I mean, all the shoes are nano waterproof, and this shoes as well is made from hemp with our logos. Pipet neydi ya? Onu bilmiyorum.
Ona bakalım. Şey var. Şunlar var mesela. Şunları da göstereyim.
And this is a shake with hemp, with leather and full fabric.
Okay.
And we have other colors as well. This is the green one.
Okay. Başka?
And the bag as well, if you want to unveil.
Okay.
And we are doing bags as well. This is our first product, but we are not selling it right now. We are doing some
Vegan.
works about this bag, and we're going to make a big one as well, hat in the for computers and phones and notebooks, like a little bit bigger. And this is as well, if this is 100% hemp and vegan. And this is the other one, the other with loaf and leather and hemp.
Bu Avustralya bölgesinde tercih ediliyor. Çünkü onlar suni şeyler istemiyorlar. Kenevirle gerçek deriyi birleştirmek istiyorlar. Genelde Avustralya tarafı bu.
We are selling this in Austria because they are more vegan means they don't want to kill.
Yani suni deri
There
istemiyorlar,
is-
orijinal deri istiyorlar.
I
Avustralya'da.
mean, how can I say in English?
Çevireyim mi?
Yok, tamam.
Okay.
These shoes, I mean, nasıl diyeyim ki onu?
Biraz bekler
Suni
misiniz?
deri.
Çeviriyorum da.
Just a second. Ay. İngilizce. Fox. Suni. Bu da ne? This leather is calf leather, is not fox leather, because Austrian people, like people that we are working with in Austria, they want this fabric, not the other one. They are more, they want more this. I mean, how can I say it? I couldn't tell it so properly, but sorry, I'm a little bit stressed also.
Başka?
And that's it. Pipet de vardı.
Pipet var mı? Pipetler ne yaptık burada?
Straws. And last product, this is straws from hemp. This is 100% Turkish, made in Turkey. We are doing with our, I mean, I did it
Doğada kaybolan pipet kenarından.
with our hands. We made it, this one. Even you can use it 5 times, 10 times. There is no, is not going to be something. And you can throw in the nature and it will grow some plants. It's eco friendly. And voila.
Okay.
We have all these products in our website. www.hemki.com.tr, and also in our Instagram page, Hemki, and Twitter also, Facebook also, but in Facebook we are not too much on Facebook. We are more in Instagram. Well,
Thank you so much, Hemki. So what was your name again?
Hemki.
Okay, and okay, great. So I'm
Oh,
just
my name is Kupra. Sorry.
okay, super. So just going to talk to some of our other audience here before we start the next 5 minutes.
Mhm.
SD Pantry, welcome. How are you here? How are you doing?
Fantastic. And how about you?
Great. So where are you based?
In California,
Okay,
US.
wonderful. And can you tell us quickly a little bit about what you do?
So I see most of it is like hemp derived. We're actually cannabis products. I have an edibles manufacturing company in California.
Oh, fascinating. Wow. And Marley's Planet, how are you doing, sir? Welcome.
Hello, how are you guys? Thank you so much for the invitation. Thank you so much.
So where are you based?
We are based in Peru, in South America, and we are a grow shop. We sell agricultural equipment and nutrients, all you need for growing hemp and cannabis.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, we do legal advice if you want to get licensed here in South America and Peru. We give advice, legal advice. So if one of you guys want to get a license here or want to put a business, you can contact us and we can help you.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. Lakeway, how are you doing? Welcome.
Hi. Happy 420.
Happy 420, yes.
Yeah.
Funny.
Happy 420.
Yeah.
So where are you based? Can you tell us a little more about what you do?
Yes. So I'm in Austin, Texas on Lake Travis. It's an area in the Northwest Hills. And I'm the owner and educator of Lakeway Botanicals. I started my company 2.5 years ago after the Farm Bill was passed in 2018. So I'm all about sustainable hemp living for people and pets, hemp health, and really want to expand my knowledge and reach in the clothing, fashion for sustainable fabrics and offer that as well, just like the whole, hemp ecosystem to live. You can eat it, you can wear it, you can live in it, you can grow it, you can do all kind of stuff with it. So
do you have a store or do you just have a brand as well?
I had a store here in Lakeway until the pandemic, and I have a store online, and I do local events weekly here, like the farmers markets. And then I do educational events. I'm also an educator. So at the university, there's a Texas Horns for Cannabis THC group there that Texas allowed the university to start. So that's been good. And then I will be opening a store again here in the next few weeks. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, super. Okay, great. So it's almost 4 o'clock. We're just about to start. So I can see we've got people, most of our panelists are here. Once again, everyone, please put your video on. Please be unmuted. And if you would like to say something, just unmute yourself or just raise your hand. So I'm just going to start, okay? So welcome. Thank you all for being here for today's session. It's 4:20 and it's 4 o'clock here in London. I think it's what, 11 o'clock in America right now?
It's
10 o'clock.
8 o'clock in California.
Okay. And
10 o'clock in Texas.
okay. Great. And what's it in Peru?
Sorry?
What's the time in Peru?
Right now is 10 a.m.
Okay, superb, great. So fascinating to see so many people here from all parts of the world. I'm just going to give you a quick brief, about Fahionablyin and what we do before we start getting into the whole discussion. So Fahionablyin is a trade show platform. We're based in London and pretty much all over the world. I'm currently not in London right now, but our company and everything is based in London. So we organize shows. We do a show in London. Basically, was focused in fashion, and over the course of the pandemic, we started branching out into home decor, architecture, hemp, astrology, and building more and more categories. Okay, this is our first edition for hemp and CBD. So it's great to see that we've have so many people from all over the world, and that's our speciality. Because at Fahionablyin, we're great at connecting people. Even our shows in London that we do have people coming in from all over the world. So we're great at connecting people. Our webinars are free, and obviously we have a membership. That's something, if anybody wants to grow their business or get more contacts, please hit me up after the webinar. I can tell you about how we work and how we can get more clients. So today's 420, and today cannabis is today it's pretty much legal in half the world. I mean, if we look at the demographics here, I'd say many of you are sitting in places where it's legal, many of you are sitting in places where it's illegal, and many of you are sitting in places where the gray area, with CBD and everything comes in, so that's something that we all also would like to speak about. Today's keynote speaker is Chris Nazareth. Did I say it right?
Close enough. Chris Nazaritas,
Okay.
but close.
And so one more thing, just to make it clear, all our discussions, all our events are completely informal and casual. Okay, so we believe in that's why we never prepare anything. It's all impromptu, because we want like some real conversation happening, not someone's like, and if anyone wants to connect with people, please just write in the chat box, put your information. Believe me, from all our events that we've done in the past, everyone has thanked me after, and they've made connections. So you will meet very interesting people. We've got so many people here from so many parts of the world. Okay, so before we continue, and would anyone like to say something quickly or introduce themselves quickly before we start? Anybody here?
No, it's okay.
Okay, so let's start. Okay, Chris, thank you so much for being here. You've got a superb LinkedIn profile with so many.
Thank you.
So let's find out more. Tell us more about what you do. And once again, if anyone has questions, please raise your hand, or just speak out, and then we'll come to you as well. So we're going to get to all the different speakers, and we're going to find out everything from everybody. Okay. So Chris, please go ahead.
Thank you so much for having us. I've got Brian, who's our managing director in Europe and throughout the UK as well, and my right-hand partner in crime, that's for sure. He's been amazing in getting our European operation set up. And a little bit more about us. I founded Medical Marijuana 411 11 years ago, this coming October. And my business partner and I were having a conversation about a patient, honestly, in our family. And I bet that same story resonates with so many of you, that you got into this business because of one person, one family member, one friend, or one conversation that kind of was that light bulb moment of going, there's something to this plant that can bring not only value from, you look at the agri side, and we've got some people in textiles and from Turkey and all over the world, but there's the medicinal side is kind of where we focused. What we found 11 years ago is that there wasn't a lot of education and information out there. And so we quietly built a brand. We have over 1 million followers on Facebook. We don't touch any plant product, which is kind of unique in this space. You'll see that our websites don't have like banner ads, etc. And we have chosen the lane of being on the education side. We trust the research behind the plant, even though it's limited, which we all know is a problem. We need more research, education, etc. But where we set forth is that we wanted to, and it's kind of an odd statement, align with some of the government entities, not only in the US, but worldwide. We wanted medical professionals to feel that our courses were unbiased, research-based, and they could use that as a platform for true learning and make their own decisions about cannabis, hemp, and using CBD for patients, etc. We now are approved in more states than any other educator in the world. We are American Medical approved for Category 1 training for nurses, pharmacists, and medical professionals, which is practically unheard of with a Schedule 1 drug. By definition means that there is no medicinal qualities and it's highly addictive, which I would bet that this group knows that that's just not true, right? So we try to maintain that, 0 deaths, again, research. What can the opportunities be to reduce opioid use, et cetera? When COVID hit last year, I think, all of us have our own experiences, both from a health perspective, anxiety, all of it just was heightened on a worldwide scale. What I did as a CEO is that I had one moment in time in late 2019 that I was at a conference in Cape Town and met some key individuals that really, I don't want to say forced me, but I had the opportunity to look at the globe on a cannabis and hemp and CBD scale from a global perspective. And what I found is that the world is small, and that's where we buckled down with Brian. We've got a great team out of Japan and Asia. So all of our courses are translated into Japanese. We now have signed a Mexico and Latin American partner, so everything's being translated into Spanish. And we will be launching that site and version of those courses for those markets here in the next 90 days, probably maybe a little bit sooner. But our goal is to educate. We really want to spread the word of what the plant can do, provide, and be, kind of all encompassing, which is pretty amazing. So that's kind of a little bit about me. So I don't want to take up too much time, but certainly, excited to be here with all of you today and love seeing a ton of women in this room. So that's personal. So thank you. And from all over the globe. So please know I'm accessible. You can reach out to me anytime.
So just a little bit about your courses. How does someone go about taking them? What is the and what are the costs?
It depends on the market, but you basically 100% of our courses are online. So you literally could go online to take a wellness consultant course, which is the bud tender course. If you're in a state in the US that you need a certain certification for a state requirement, we offer those. If you're a medical professional, we offer the continuing education training that is a requirement for annual compliance. What we see most often now within our business is that we have larger, honestly, brands coming to us to train their team. So as we evolve, what we're becoming is more of a compliance company. The cost in this cannabis space, CBD, cannabis, whatever you want to talk about today in this forum, the cost of non-compliance is high. I mean, the violations can cost you millions of dollars. I mean, we've gone through it. We don't even touch any plant material of having issues with banking and losing credit card processing. So every day it's a challenge. I'm sure all of us have experienced that in this room at some level, whether it's from what's legally allowed within the country or the state that you're located in, or just the complexity of unwrapping what we have to do just to have a normal business. We can't advertise the way another business can advertise. We can't market, talked about with the hemp key people, the lack of being able to put anything on Facebook. I mean, it's exhausting. Everyone goes, oh, you're in the cannabis space. That's so cool. I'm like, it is, but it's hard, and most of my background has been in technology. And if you look at my bio, I did a huge content play with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I've got a very large motorsports background, which is kind of crazy, but cannabis is my life. That's my love.
Okay, so we have a question from Idea. Would you like to unmute yourself, please?
Yes, of course, and thank you for giving me a chance to ask a question. My question was actually for the advertising on social media, because we also had a problem because we were launching, actually today, it was the day one of our campaign. We created a partnership with some influencer here in Italy, and we wanted to create this video, which was like just about dancing. We didn't put anything on it, like nothing that was linked to, of course, our product, because we all know all the lining, which is very difficult right now to go on social media and to try to advertise our product, which it's very tricky. And I think that's the problem. So, and we also had some issues with the video. My question was, how do you guys do? What's the best way to try to use the social media and not be blocked by Facebook and Instagram?
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace, and I'm the owner of Illmatic. I currently have one product only, even though I did upload a couple of products for my website, but I only have one product that's currently still open and open for purchase on Facebook. And I think part of it is the wording. So you can't use anything that says hemp or CBD or anything like that. I think it's more like a hit or miss, because everything else got flagged. That one item did not get flagged. So, but it's still open. So that way it gives them access to the website. So try wording it slightly different.
Okay, thank you very much. We will try.
So, Chris, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I would like to interject, because we did build a following with marijuana in our name. We had everything wrong when we just developed our brand, and I was outvoted on our name. We'll just say that. But now it's like, I'm going to reduce the stigma. I'm going to just charge forward, and we're just going to make it all happen. But where we found that we could do a similar campaign that I did for motorsports companies is that we told the story. And so I'm curious, is it Theradia? If I mispronounce, I apologize. But it sounds like you've got an influencer that possibly, if you kind of just spin it, so it's more of a storytelling, that's how we got a lot of success on Facebook, that we could spread our message a little bit more organically. And it was based on the patient. It wasn't so much product focused. It was to talk anecdotally about what their experience was with the plant.
Thank you. Yeah, right now our idea for the campaign was just only to collaborate with these guys, which are dancers. We wanted just to focus like on the idea of the product and how it was just like a nice music video, actually. So that was our idea. But somehow I think in our team someone did something wrong with the name, some names inside. I think in the copy there was something wrong. So that's why Facebook blocked us. And thank you for all your information. I will take everything to my social media team, and I will try to develop some new ideas. We also were trying to come up with some new ideas, because we're launching new products in the next month, some like moisturizer or oil. Right now we're just selling the product itself, but in Italy it's still very kind of difficult, because we can sell it, but you should sell it just like a piece of, it's like an object. You can't say nothing about using it. So everyone knows it, but you can't say it.
Can I ask, Theradia, are you making claims as to its effectiveness, or because if you've got different restrictions in Italy, you can't claim that it, cures or, mitigates any condition. Is it CBD or is it cannabis derived? I mean, is it hemp or cannabis derived?
Just CBD.
Okay, so is that from hemp or is that from cannabis?
Okay, this question, I actually don't know how to answer. I'm sorry, because I'm just like taking this webinar for my coworker who can now, she can't speak English. So I'm gonna ask. So in this, there's a difference. I'm so sorry.
There's a huge difference. Does it come from the hemp plant or from the cannabis sativa plant?
It was from, I think it's from the sativa.
Well, technically, if you look at the structure of the plant, and this is where it's complicated because marijuana and hemp historically have been legal terms, right? That's how, and so hemp is defined by the 0.03 less than THC mark, but the plant, and this is where it can be so like ridiculously confusing. So it's cannabis sativa. Sativa is actually the plant genus that produces the less than 0.03%. So if you're in one of those rooms, and I've been there, obviously, that's how I know this, is that you're going to have your staunch horticulture people that are like, well, it's still cannabis. Well, it is, but hemp now becomes the term that is much more utilized for the common mainstream market, right? So I totally get where you're coming, because you're in a legal state with cannabis. You're operating under the legal guidelines of cannabis. Is it Theridia? You have such a pretty name, but I don't want to screw it up. But okay, good. So I would bet just a little bit, and Brian, you might know more about the Italian market. I would assume, and I'm not going to state it 100%, but I would bet you're in the 0.03 less than market. So technically you're probably calling it cannabis, but really hemp is probably the more mainstream, but you are a CBD company, I would bet.
Yeah, most of the EU right now is 0.3 or less. They're trying to standardize it. There are some countries that are different, like France was at 0.2. I think Switzerland was maybe a little bit higher. Netherlands is higher as well. So they're trying to create some standardization across all the countries, but as a lot of people know, the EU is not national, it's more commercial. So every country in Europe does have their national laws. And Italy is actually quite unique because they at one point did make everything illegal for about a week, and then they switched everything back around. So in general, there's a lot of confusion, and unfortunately, some companies like Facebook, PayPal, they just do this blanket kind of, if we think that you're anywhere near that industry, we just don't want to be talking to you. And it's really unfortunate because you can just put up one keyword that goes into their system, you get flagged, they see what you do, and then you're gone. And you don't have any way to appeal or anything. So
okay, so Brian, where are you based?
I live in Paris, France. Okay. And I'm originally from the United States. I've been out here since 2013, and I met Chris about a year ago, and I lived in Seattle before moving out here, and I was a little bit surprised when I moved to France and every pharmacy had a green cross on it. I thought that it was legal here, and then I realized that it wasn't legal, and then I realized that France grows more hemp than anywhere almost in the world. So it goes to paper for Bibles, interestingly enough. So the market here is actually quite robust. It's just not for personal use. Things are changing in Europe really quickly. I'm pretty happy to be working with Chris and Medical Marijuana 411 because out here, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, they are really the professionals that can open up the industry very quickly if they are supportive and knowledgeable about what's happening. So the first step is education, having the tools, the courses, being able, making sure that they get credit for it. All of the accreditation can transfer to Europe and the UK. So, we're really hoping that we'll be able to help things move faster so that this confusion and really lack of knowledge with a lot of professionals is changed.
And we've got a CBD only course that's kind of an advanced course that really talks about like plant structure, et cetera, that launches by early next week. We're just going through the last review of it, but it's excellent. It's different than our traditional like medical professional certifications. We've got non-accredited certifications and accredited. Honestly, the non-accredited are much more fluid in the conversation of being able to talk about dosing, how to medicate, ways to medicate, reducing the stigma that yes, people are going to use water pipes and bongs to medicate on that cannabis side and self-titrate, right? But I'm so excited and proud about the CBD only course that's launching. And you can sign up on our website if you want like a pre-sale, and we'll certainly do some discount codes for this group, you know, after the fact. But, you know, just excited because there's so much. The good part is the Farm Bill allowed a lot of people now to get into the space from the US perspective. And I think it changed a lot of things internationally as well. But it also allowed a lot of not so great players get into the space. So it has definitely done harm for the reputable players that are really trying to build not only quality products, textiles, you got the whole agribusiness side, you've got the, you know, bookmaking side. The minute you say that you're in the hemp business, some people think it's kind of like a dirty name, and that's just so unfortunate.
So thank you so much for your, I'm just getting back to Brian. So you said you're based in Paris, right? I see onlinecbd.fr. How are you doing, sir? So onlinecbd.fr.
Are you talking to me here?
Yeah. No, I just want to know. So I just want to know your opinion as well, because you're based in France as well, right? Online CBD.
We are based in France. We launched like since a few months now, like 6 months. For the moment, we didn't have any inquiries or anything, but things are moving pretty fast here. Like there is some new actors, like new shops, like creating like every day, every weeks. Yeah, it's going bigger and bigger. Also, there was some testing like launched a few weeks ago, I think, for medicinal cannabis, experimenting for medicines and stuff. So things are moving. I think it's pretty positive for the next month. Let's see.
And so what do you sell on your website?
So on our website, we sell hemp, we sell oils and tea mostly.
Okay, I'm just trying to make some connections here now. Brian, Chris and Brian, which people are you looking to connect with? Are you looking to connect with businesses that like for example, like online CBD, or are you looking to connect with end users or people who are just regular people who want more information?
You know, all the above, really. We have courses that start as low as, you know, 24 euro, 25 euros. So if you're interested in really understanding and sharpening your game as being a professional in the industry, we have courses that start for very little. If you have doctors or pharmacists or nurses in your network that need to get with the program and they need some education, offer it to them as well. We really like to use our education to put people on the spot. There's been a lot of excuses around the world as to why hemp is a bad thing, and we're here to say that we disagree, and we have the education to back it up. When you go through our courses, you can see exactly where the studies are. The links are there. You can go to the studies. You can really understand the nuts and bolts of why the medical industry is changing. So I think that everybody being here today is kind of a testament to the fact that we can see the changes happening. We all are here wanting to have a nice, positive, safe industry. The backbone of any safe industry is education and knowledge. So I think that anybody who is here for the long term, please just check out our website, even if it's just to let other people know. It doesn't hurt. I think in the long run, the more that we can all work together, the more that the industry will open up, more people will get involved.
Absolutely.
The stigmatism around it will change.
Yeah. Brian, I couldn't have said it better. And I think one of the other things that we really looked at, again, technology being my background historically, is that it's very modular in approach. So we're starting to get a lot of the larger CBD companies or a product group that says, okay, I've got a team of even 10 people, right? I need them to understand our product information and the science. So we can like literally insert product information within a course to make it very customized for any manufacturer, which has been a big one. Again, back to that cost of violation, there is a dispensary out of Colorado in the United States called Sweetleaf that literally they had a practice called looping, which in pretty layman's terms allowed multi-purchases for people just literally looping around the block. That's where that name came from. And it's actually now a legal term. And they were fined millions of dollars and the owners went to jail. So, I mean, there's no joke in this industry that you have to know that your employees meet the highest standard of compliance on HR, where you can build that into a course, especially if it's modular.
I'm sorry, what's the name of your brand or your class?
Yeah, it's medicalmarijuana411.com if you're in the US, UK and EU, and we also have JP if we have any. I don't know who's here in Asia, but we have everything. Our core course is translated into Japanese, and now we're going into the Latin American and Mexico market with Spanish.
Okay, that's very interesting because I just saw on LinkedIn that they have a cannabis training university or campus or college, remember? And I was thinking about signing up today, so I'm happy that I've done.
We'll make sure we can work after this, and I think do an email or something with a discount code for some courses. And one of the things just on the quick competitive is that all of the research citations in our courses, you can literally click on them and it opens up the citation. So you can if you want to geek out and deep dive into Mashulum,
I'm gonna geek out.
You can do it. So, and you have unlimited access. So it's not like a video with a voiceover. It's actually interactive PDFs that are very beautiful and visually inspiring.
Thank you. So Lakeway, I believe you want to say something. You have your hand raised. Lakeway Botanic.
Oh, hi. Yeah, Lisa. Thank you so much, Chris and Brian. There's a huge vacuum in the education space on the CBD side. And I was just interested about your CBD only course, if it addressed these third-party certificates of analysis, the full panel, which not only tests for the purity and potency of the CBD and the cannabinoids that are in the product, but also for metals, pesticides, and to establish the organic nature of the product.
Yes. So I went through that this weekend, and that was one of the areas I wanted to beef up just a little bit because it's so important. And then we have a group working on a whole just testing course, which will come out. You know, we've got a couple labs up here in Seattle that we can work with. It's so critical. And I think that there's so much, again, misinformation out there of how to read a label, how to read the test, how to make sure that you're buying reputable product. You know, all those pieces that are just, you know, we always go back to patient safety is what our, yeah. And I would love to, let's connect outside of this. Maybe you can help me, I would give you the course for free to have you give me some feedback. Happy to do that.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I'm going to definitely geek out on your website because
that sounds good. Just send me a note. Yeah, it's Chris at medicalmarijuana411.com. So feel free to reach out anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, so does anyone else have some interesting products that they would like to speak about what they're doing or where they're from? I see Feel Good Alternative. How are you doing, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Doing pretty good. Yeah, I'm out of Wisconsin, and we are a organic CBD brand. Our oils are derived from USDA organic hemp grown in Wisconsin. Our balms, people are really finding great relief from the proprietary blend of herbs that are in our ingredients with our 2 different balms. It's just been really helping people with different injuries and recovery and just mobilization of various joints. So that's pretty nice. But the balm is actually made in Colorado, where I used to live. And my friend who's in the medical marijuana industry used to make some really amazing balm, and it's the only thing that took away my chronic wrist pain. And so when I started this brand out here in Wisconsin, I was like, man, I need that balm. So I gave him a call, and he just reformatted his recipe and made it federally compliant. And so now we have the balm, which is sourced from Colorado, our oils, which are sourced from Wisconsin, and then our hemp is grown from our partner farm, which they've been growing medical and marijuana for
So
like
where do you
decades.
Where do you
What's
currently
up?
sell? Are you selling only through your website, or are you selling in boutiques and head shops as well?
Both. I also have a storefront in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we are also in some local stores and online.
So
And
when you sell to a local store, just to understand the business, what is the markup that they usually put? So say you sell them something for wholesale $10. What would their retail be? Is it like, what is the general markup that people follow?
double up. So if you sold something to a retailer for 10, they would sell it usually for 20.
20.
Yep.
Is that normal? Because like, at least what I see in the fashion business and the gift business, it's more like 2.8 or sometimes even 3. I don't know. Does anyone else have any ideas on that? Jenny's Bake, would you like to add something? You have to unmute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well, I mean, I don't know. Fashion is definitely an anomaly. I mean, that's because you always have to put things on sale. So I've been in product for 30 years, and typically Keystone is what you do, which is a double markup, and that's how retailers feel comfortable. So you just go with the standard Keystone. You sell it for 20, they sell it for 40, and they tend to do better than we do on that side. But that's awesome. I feel good. It's awesome. I'd love to talk to you maybe offline a little bit. I just want to do a quick elevator pitch. Chris and Ryan, you guys are doing awesome work. And you've been around for a long time. I started 6 years ago also when things were very new. And I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and nothing was being done, back then. And obviously I have 3 kids. Child Protective Services got called on me multiple times in the very beginning. So I have a little bit of a history, but I am one of the few licensed seed to sale holders in New York. And I just got the we moved from the Ags and Market Department into the Department of Health for manufacturing and processing and retail and distribution. And it's, I think as a New Yorker, I can speak that we're creating a whole nother playing field for the cannabis space. So in the CBD, and Chris, we should talk, but in the CBD space here, we are no longer in the Ags and Market Department, that is USDA for grow. I now had to get a retail distribution license and a manufacturing and a processing license. I had to get all of them separately, and I had to be CGMP'd.
How do you cover all these high costs when it's?
So by the grace of God, and I'm I'm 100% owner of my company, and as a woman, this is a whole nother conversation. So shout out Chris for saying that, but I've spent 5 years trying to get investors, and it just proved to be nothing but a horrible experience. And this isn't my first company. So I'm now just doing it on my own. I just set up a CGMP facility that was certified last week. I took my extraction machine, and I will be working with, to me now the next chapter is working with finding other, full spectrum and other cannabinoids, and working more specifically with strains. And so I'm seeking farmers that have a different level of approaching the hemp plant. So I think we need to start really taking control of it. Whereas, yes, there's so many bad actors out there, but I now have a responsibility to really understand what each strain does for each ailment and educate people around that, not just what CBD or CBA or CBG or CBN does, but to concentrate more on the direction of where we're going to grow and how we're going to process and how we're going to infuse. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And but I thank you all for having me, and it's wonderful listening to you guys. But I feel like I'm on my new journey with I'm in I don't know if anybody knows the Catskills area, but I'm in Hudson Valley, about 10 miles from Hudson, 10 miles from Catskills. I have 21 acres and a 12,000 foot building there. So it's
Oh
the
my
start
gosh.
of that. But I've had a brand for 5 years, and I'm in the food sector.
Yeah, we totally have to connect because our stories are very parallel. We self-funded this as well. We've reinvested every dollar that we have made off education right back into more education. So I get it. And yeah, this is my second major company, or really kind of third. You can count all of them, but yeah, I totally get it. Love it.
I started in the beginning, I would go from DC to Maine, and I called it the suffrage marijuana group. And women would invite me in their homes, and I would educate them on how it became illegal and how to use it. And I would sit in rooms with senators and congressmen and who had absolutely no idea why it became illegal. And we would educate. But I sort of championed the East Coast.
Well, I'm also in the East Coast. I'm the owner of Illmatic. I'm located in Queens, New York. I sell full spectrum hemp CBD oil that only has 2 ingredients: fractionated coconut oil, that's the MCT oil. I also have broad spectrum CBD oil. I'm working on my CBG and CBN. I have soft gels, and my topicals are like absolute winner. They're like the icing on the cake. They sell like hotcakes. Right now, I'm just an e-commerce, so I sell strictly online with Square. For banking, I just got approved with Chase Banking if you need assistance with CBD banking. I don't have a storefront, so I do a lot of pop-up shops, and I'm doing that just to get my name out.
Can I get on this this girls power moment here? Because again, thank you. I started my company. I'm in California, just outside of Sacramento, the capital. So all of our California being, to my knowledge, it is the largest cannabis market in the world. My products are in about 500 retail points across the state. I'm working on a deal for Las Vegas right now. So we'll be moving into the Nevada market, and then also Massachusetts. So just trying to kind of spread out as anticipation that our federal government will get on board and deschedule or reschedule, at least get it off as Schedule 1 drug. But I started my company in 2008. I'm sorry? Okay, I'm sorry, I thought I heard a question in there. So I started my company in 2008, and there were no women business owners in the cannabis industry. It's still really male dominated, but had to kind of navigate some unusual things. Jenny, like you, I was a single mom with 3 kids. Just continuing to grow the business. And Chris, I definitely need to connect with you. I've always educated my employees, made sure that they understood how the product worked. And we make edibles primarily, which is a great way for people to be introduced into the cannabis consumption market. They're very approachable, and and I'm not, in any way judging against smoking or vaping or anything else, but edibles are such an approachable way and very discreet. And the preferred method of consumption by most women. And of course, the market for the majority of consumers these days are actually female, but the majority of dispensary attendees or those people who shop in dispensaries the majority are men. So whether as women we're sending our men in to get them, or we're buying through delivery services or other methods. And in California, there's no online purchasing unless you're purchasing and then picking up at a dispensary. So we don't have a storefront. I manufacture and distribute Those are different licenses
What is
here
your-
as well, Jenny.
What is your hottest selling item? Like, what is the hottest selling product?
So I think I'm the only manufacturer of canna butter as a retail product in the entire state of California. So we make about 600 pounds of canna butter a week.
Wow.
So we go through a lot of distillate. We make a lot of product. We're selling in units of product somewhere in the 20,000 units of, and that's not just canna butter. We also make 28 ready to eat edibles. So, but probably 20,000 plus units a week leave here. So I mean, we're selling a lot of product.
So you said you were selling to like 500 points of sale, and that's mainly in the West Coast.
Retailers. Yeah. I also have, we self-distribute to about 125 retail points. And then I use 2 third-party distribution companies that, they'll get in bulk and then distribute to their, they're just, California is a very big state.
So for someone new who's getting into this business, because you obviously have got a great distribution, and congratulations on such a great job that you're doing. You obviously have got a great product that people, because at the end of the day, it's the product that sells. You have a good product. So what advice would you give a younger company that wants to distribute, wants to have like 500 different points to sell? So what advice would you give? Would you rather say stick to one region first, or go pan America? Or what would you say?
So again, I don't have investors. I own my company. I think if you have, an infinite amount of funds available to you, surely you can advertise everywhere. But I think it makes more sense if you're trying to build, that you're going to start with a region and you're going to build up that region, and so there's brand recognition in that region, and then you can begin to expand outside of those borders there. But to try to blanket the state in one shot, I think is unrealistic. Or even even if it's not California, if it's another state, building a business, you have to start with one area that's a core area that you have a reach to, and you can advertise to, and you build that recognition. I mean, that would be the same for any market, whether it's a state, a country, or whatever.
We're going to go to the other part of the world and then come back to you. So I see 602 Mediterranean. Right, how are you doing, sir?
Hi.
Hi. So you mentioned you're a farmer?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So
we are a very small farmer here.
And where are you based?
In the north. We are based in Liguria, near, so means Genoa.
Oh, beautiful,
beautiful. In the northwest. Yes, close to the Portofino, for the one of the most famous small town here. So we have a small farmer. We cultivate what we call legal sativa cannabis, because so we're here in Italy, we aren't allowed to sell THC cannabis, only CBD. The maximum amount of THC they allowed to sell is 0.5. And so we produce also CBD oil in a full spectrum. And the topic of the company is we are one of the few company here in Italy that we produce cannabis in aeroponics system.
Oh, wow. Wow. And so why don't you leave your details? I think you've got so much of information that we'd want to share, but we don't have the time. But my main question right now is more to Chris, is like, I see people here like now in Italy, and I see people from other parts of the world. What is the legality in cross-border trade when it comes to hemp and cannabis products? So like, for example, I mean, maybe y'all can shed some more light on this, but Like same with like SD Pantry's, their edibles. Can they sell that in Europe, or do they need to get other additional licenses? What is your feedback on that?
I would bet, looking at this room, there's probably multiple people that are smarter and better to answer that question than I. So I'd like to just turn it over to the room, because you're going to know your own markets better than I would, honestly.
Depends on where you're going.
Yeah, and I can answer for New York that you couldn't sell in New York, but yeah.
Right. For California, we're restricted to grow, source, manufacture, and sell within the border of the state. Even for anybody who's in the U.S., that even taking a product from a legal state to a legal state is illegal. We can't even sell in another state that has adult use cannabis. We're restricted to just California.
So yeah, and on the patient side, there's a few states that offer what's called reciprocity, that you can go, for example, Nevada. If you're a card carrying medical patient, you can actually buy product in Nevada. And there's just a few of those states. And then you still have states like in the US, Idaho, that even though the Farm Bill passed federally, Idaho, similar to some of the legislation with the state initiatives to allow certain purchases, is that Idaho still is no CBD at all.
Yeah.
So cannabis or marijuana can't go across state line. CBD under the Farm Act can, but states are starting to put guidelines around that. And when it comes to edibles, which I'm a food focused company, and there's still a lot of definition around, even though you ingest it, is it an edible? Is a tincture an edible? Is an olive oil an edible? Is a brownie an edible? But the states are starting to, and this is what New York has done, is to put it into the Department of Health and create new CBD guidelines around that. So, sorry, Ilmatic, I don't know your name, but you know that in New York, all the New York Department of Health shut down every cafe, restaurant, and bar selling infused CBD products. Lattes and that. And now under my license, I can now start to sell them again, but they have to get licensed. So there are lots of ways we can move over to other states with the Farm Act, but we have to follow the new regulations under the Department of Health in that state.
Jenny, can I ask you a quick question? What was somebody else asking? Sorry. Okay, so
I think that someone's just talking in the background.
Okay, all right. Okay, my apologies. So Jenny, can I ask you, like, what, and forgive this, but what's the cost of getting licensed for the type of business that you do in New York? And you are CBD derived. Am I understanding that correct? Okay.
Correct. And it's not, we are 0.03 as the standard.
Okay.
Spectrum.
The retail.
The cost was to transition from the USDA, my grow license was just transitioned, no cost. It's still in the Ags and Market Department, but it's slowly moving towards USDA. To transition to the Department of Health cost me, I got a discount because I've been in the program for 3 years, but it was $4,500 for the application. Yeah, $300 for the distribution license and $300 for the retail license. So all in, about $5,500 around there. And then I had to be CGMP certified. So my build out had to be CGMP build out. My certifier had to be sanctioned by the state, and all of those processes. And I have not gone to the food level yet of getting certified, but next step.
So certification for, and again, not CBD, because in California, the only CBD you can sell for an edible product because they're CBD, hemp-derived CBD edibles are illegal in California. But cannabis-derived CBD edibles are legal, but must be sold through the cannabis format. And really, the reality is it's strictly for taxation purposes because they can tax it at the 15% of retail that they do for cannabis, which about 75 cents of every dollar spent in a dispensary is taxation. Yes, you heard that right, 75%. So for a manufacturer's license plus our distribution license, this has nothing to do with the build out or any other type of certification. Licensing is about $125,000 a year, every year. And I mean, it is such a barrier to enter into the market. If I had to start my business now, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right, right. So ours, they just rolled out a 2-year. So I've got it for 2 years upon approval. However, as maybe some of you know, we just announced we're going rec. So that will be 1 year in the making, and we're lobbying the license holders currently to give us a break on that entry into it. So we don't know if that's possible, but if anybody's here, that is something everybody should do who's a CBD processor or retailer should lobby that when it goes rec that they've been in the system for X amount of years and to get that right to lower the price so that they can transition. But I mean, obviously there's so much involved here. Our insurance and Illmatic, to get product insurance, to get liability insurance, they charge us double the cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our order processing is double. Our banking is double. Everything is the marijuana tax.
Yeah, we don't even have banking in California.
I think what you're seeing here is that the U.S. unfortunately for a lot of the world has set the precedence, right? With what the Schedule 1 is, has set the tone worldwide. And that was one of the things when you think about how complex it is in the United States. And then as COVID hit for my company to go, okay, now let's go to France and let's go to Africa. We launched we are the first education company with our partner Chiva Africa in South Africa. And they now have a campus right outside of Johannesburg. So check them out. They're fantastic. But if you go back to the education side, for us, I think that's where you look at, it's like a hornet's nest for every market. I don't care if you're in California or in Canada, Mexico, Africa, France, Japan, whatever, right? So I think what we tend to do is we tend to isolate the law because the law dictates then what formulations can be, distribution can be. And so we tend to have a lot of the education modules focused on the complexities of what that looks like within a market. So like if you go to our Chiva Africa courses, you're going to have the same science, research, endocannabinoid system, terpene profiles, major minor cannabinoids, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. But then you're going to insert South African law. So that way the liability is mitigated based on the legal ramifications. And we tend to do that with our Mexico partner. We have strong with Logix, who just hosted the Mexico Cannabis Summit, which I was a speaker at a couple of weeks ago. We partnered with them to write the law for all of our coursework. Then we'll expand into Latin America because that, I think all of, the commentary on just the complexities for US state to US state it's ridiculous that now we have to take that step. If I look at sitting in my seat today as an educator, how do we go to a specific market and teach them that same, unraveling of the complexity within their own legal framework within their own country?
Okay, just to get a point of view from another part of the world, online CBD, how are you? You were mentioning something about UPS for your shipments. Online CBD.fr. You have to unmute.
Yeah. What's your question? Excuse me.
So you were saying something about UPS, that you use UPS for your shipments. Now I just want to understand, are you selling your product only in Europe or are you selling to America and other parts of the world? And what is the legality in that?
No, for now we just sell in France, so we don't send products outside of France, but it's mostly to receive the products from our supplier. We meet some issues sometimes, but it just happened a few times. But the supplier told me like it's more and more common, and there is more and more problems those times. So that's why I was thinking I should say it.
Okay, thank you. So Mali's Planet, you said you were based in Peru, right?
Yes, my business in Peru. I want to introduce myself for everyone. I am Armando Perez. I am a cannabis activist for 20 years. And we are from Peru, and we are a blessed country because hemp is not illegal. Hemp is decriminalized by the law in 2017, and cannabis is legal from 2017. So if you want to grow hemp in Peru, it's absolutely free. It's a regulated substance, but it's not illegal. Okay, so in Peru, you don't have to spend money to have that license. You pay just for legal advice. And also we have in Peru something that is very good, because we are located in the equatorial line, so we have a cycle of light for almost 10 months or month, about 12-hour day and 12-hour night. So you can have more than one crop a year just with light. And also home growing cultivation is not illegal in Peru. Not illegal.
Do you supply your product basically in Peru itself, or do you also supply stuff South America and different countries, or is it localized to Peru itself?
No, just Peru. Just Peru. We don't have all Latin America. Cannabis is illegal in almost all Latin America. Just Colombia and Uruguay have a legal marijuana, so we cannot trade within countries. It's right now it's impossible because we don't have a law, who permit that.
So tell us a little more about you said you were a cannabis activist. So can you just tell us some of your accomplishments that you have done over the last 20 years?
Yeah, also I am a founder of 420 Green Cure. Is a cannabis patient association from 2016. And we have the first authorization for the government for a cannabis grow researching. So right now we are treating patients for almost 2,000 or 3,000 patients right now. So if anybody wants with 420 Green Cure, just contact us. We also have a lot of projects inside of our association. So if anybody wants to give insight.
Okay, thank you. I'm just going to ask some of the other audience. I see CBD Ollie. CBD Ollie, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm at home, so that was a little bit noisy with the kids around.
Okay, no worries. So where are you based, sir?
We are near Rotterdam, and we are a company who already 20 years experience in the medical field. We supply mainly pharmacists, therapists, etc. And we give also medical guidance to pharmacists and doctors and therapists for combinations with other medicines or with orthomolecular medicines and combinations. And we supply them. And we also we have a second company where we do private labeling. We make certain formulations, what's based on the research of 30 years research in Wageningen University. From unfortunately passed away Ronald Glass. Ronald Glass did already 30 years, mixed all kind of cannabinoids like oils. He made 5% THC, 10% CBD, or the way around, and then looks what it did. And he developed cannabinoid formulations for depression, obesity, anxiety. But then certain formulations work much better together in those cannabinoid formulations.
So in my opinion, the Dutch market is more advanced because you guys have obviously been I mean, that's what I always think, that you guys are maybe five years ahead of the world because you guys have been around.
We were, but in 1998 already I met a guy. He was the first one who supplied later on the first medical cannabis in a pharmacy worldwide. And actually I worked in a clinic myself where I was the first doctor, where even the Chinese television came, where he was the first subscribed cannabis ever in the 90s. But the other guy who was busy with since the 80s with his own weed shop and so on, he already was busy with cannabis so long. And then I came by a professor and 5 years ago, and he did 30 years his research, and all those people knew each other, met each other, and they had so much knowledge about original plants, about the cannabinoids what you even cannot find on Google. And when you make certain formulations, for example, with certain cannabinoids, you can add one cannabinoid to activate the other ones. And it's very, very interesting, and you can talk hours and hours and hours about that.
So are you are you a consultant as well, or you sell product?
No, we sell products, and we sell private label to other companies in all over Europe.
So from the Netherlands you can sell all over Europe. Do you sell anywhere else? Any other countries? Or is it...
Yeah, no problem at all.
Sorry?
No problem at all. No problem at all. Only the novel food list we have in Europe, and that is kind of a problem, that there are certain groups of companies who applied for the novel food, but that is for the new food when you add crystals of CBD. But CBD extracts from hemp or cannabis or whatever should not fall underneath the novel food list. And there is, by the pharmaceutical industry and the big boys, there's always been creating a misinformation. So sometimes, it was allowed. No, it's a pharmaceutical medicine, so it's not allowed. And then it should be novel food list. No, it's not novel food list. And then what's allowed again. And it's in Europe, it's quite a big chaos. And the big boys like Facebook, Google, I have the same problem since 2014. We were on the first page when we launched because we were one of the 3 in Germany and Holland, maybe one of the 10 in Europe or so, maybe one of the 20. We were in the top 3 on Google, and since then it's unable, and hundreds of links and newsletters, and on pages where we were, it's almost impossible to raise up in Google or in search engines. And there's such a big resistance, and also there is so much really, really cheap stuff on the market, from cheap hemp.
Yes.
When you look to the CBD oils, what they make from hemp, what is actually made for furniture and robes and so on, and you should use cannabis plants where there are certain other cannabinoids, and not a little bit, but high in other cannabinoids. And when I say, for example, a full spectrum, it doesn't exist. When somebody puts on a website full spectrum, I already stopped reading it because it doesn't exist. Then you should have the 16 original plant strains, and nobody has the seeds, all of them. And when you make all of them and you mix them together, then you've got all the cannabinoids, terpenes, and everything. And that is the biggest problem. And when you ask somebody who talks about cannabis, did you know that from the 16, or how much there are, nobody knows, or have been, that 13 of them didn't contain THC. So what are we growing now? THC and CBD plants. It's like Mongols, it's like breathe it through, breathe it through, breathe it through. And and then what happens, what with the cannabinoid profiles, and they go down and down and down, and they have raised the CBD and THC content in the plants, but the other cannabinoids went down and then down and down.
So what is your, just sorry to interrupt you, just want to understand something. What is your best selling product?
We have cannabinoid complexes, CBG we sell a lot, but we have a clinic and we work with a lot of clinics, and we also advise them. But we use what the client needs, so we don't focus on what is most sold. And but we have, for example, in Switzerland and Germany, we sell a lot of CBN oil against pain. And it's mostly based on advice. You know, we want to know about the patient and we advise one-on-one to pharmacy or to clients. And, you know, we have got a web shop, yes, and we have got hundreds of pharmacies and shops or people who are buying it, but we are mostly focusing on the advice. When somebody has got a headache, maybe it's a migraine, yes or no, then you can use CBC oil, CBC cannabis romaine, for example. But when it doesn't work, we look in acupuncture wise, hey, maybe it's a gallbladder liver problem. And then we look, what can we do about that? So it's not only about selling a product, but also the medical advice, you know, which is, you know, everybody can sell CBD. When you look in the Dutch internet, what is standing there and how many web shops there are, and when you talk to them or you want to call them up and have a question, yeah, you should take CBD. Yeah, I should take CBD. But what does CBD? Yeah, it relaxes. Yeah, okay. And what does it do with the inflammasome, you know, with the cell nuclei and the cell wall? What does it do? What the inflammasome? Nobody knows what it is. So we have to be careful that when there is a patient who have got complaints, that we give you properly advice. And one of the things I can give an example, when you've got a root canal or a tooth problem, you can take CBD against the pain and against the inflammation, but the root canal problem isn't fixed. So after 2 years, it can come back much more worse. And then you cannot handle it anymore. But maybe you need then other herbs or other things or actions to fix that problem as well. And that is the whole problem in the medical field. A lot of people shouting a lot, telling a lot of things, but they don't know what they're doing. And of course, it's good because 90% of people will help. But when there is an underlying factor, I got a big example. I went yesterday to a client's home. And she's quite a while and she was pretty fit, but she had so much high blood pressure and heartbeats. So I come there, I take my suitcase with some measurement equipment. I went there, she had a Wi-Fi station here, a DECT phone next to her. She got adapters underneath her feet. She got an electrical bed with a lot of electricity next to her bed. So I measured her blood pressure way too high. I put all the Wi-Fi, threw away the DECT phone in the bin. I put away the adapters. I put away and put the electricity on the bed already for the night. We spoke to her 2 hours ago. The high blood pressure is completely gone. And she took CBD and our optimal alpha complex. And she took CBC against the headache. Within one night, it's all gone. So you can take CBD and try to fix it. But when there is another causation, like radiation, it's one of the biggest causations we find, you need to address and you need to fix that. And that is something why you always be careful what you're saying to people when they take CBD and ask through.
What would you suggest is the best way to intake it? Is it in the oil format or in an edible? What do you feel has been the most effective?
I think it's in an oil, but you know, you can put it also on the skin. Like when you want to do an iodine test, you take the iodine, you take the orange one like betadine. And when you've got a shortage of iodine, what a lot of people have, you put it on your arm and you see it 5 minutes later, it is gone. And some people who have thyroid problems feel the thyroid. But so you can put it also on the skin. And when you put an onion or garlic underneath your feet, it also works. What I do with THC oil, I put it underneath my feet because I don't want to get stoned. When I get stoned, I get also heartbeat and so on. And I want to keep control.
Right.
So what I put it underneath my feet, and then it's also working, and I get relaxed and I can better sleep.
But obviously, putting it topically, it's going to take a much longer for it to come inside your bloodstream, right?
Yeah, and higher doses.
Yeah. Okay. And higher doses, you're saying?
No, yeah. When you put THC oil, when you take proper 20-25% oil, when you take 1 or 2 drops, and it works in 30 minutes. But when you take underneath your feet, you need 10 drops.
Right. Of course.
And then it will take the whole night. It gets digested through your body, but it doesn't have the chemical influence also from the liver and so on and enzymes. Long story, but it also have an effect. But what I think is the best still is in your mouth because you have got enzymes to digest.
I don't think topicals enter your bloodstream.
Yeah,
They do.
We already tested that. Yeah, they do.
But you can't get high from using a topical, even the highest THC.
No,
it's the way that the blood barrier works and the CB2, I always get them backwards, CB2 receptor. So that's why a topical is not going to get you high.
No, correct. But it will be.
But THC inherently is not bad. That's what a lot of people, I think, coming into the whole CBD thing is THC is bad. The other part of that, you were talking about the anxiety and some of the heart racing and that kind of thing. CBD mitigates that if you're taking it as a tincture or edible and some of those kind of things. It actually tones down how those receptors work.
Yeah.
So I would like to piggyback on that and say that I'm a functional medicine have a functional medicine perspective. And I think it's not just an oil or just a topical, it's what you combine for the bioavailability of this plant. So it's not just the oil works. It, like you said, CBD oily, we have to know what the customer, and Chris and Brian maybe can attest to this, but we have to know what the customer's ailments are. If they've got diabetes, how are we going to work with their pancreas, their liver, their kidney, and how is it going to absorb, and what kind of method do we need to get to them? It's everything. Every customer, I can't say patient, but every customer I deal with has their own way of absorbing this product for what they need it for. So I agree with you. There's not just one product, but definitely the combination of products. So if it's a topical, and Illmatic, I know you've got a couple wonderful products, and somebody else said that they had, but there's a real big difference between formulating a topical that's got a dilator in it and one that doesn't. So we need to start to really understand, and we just look at other industries, how things are absorbed. That's the most important part of this plant, is how are we going to gift it to somebody's body.
Yeah, and one of the things we did experiments in the laboratory in Leiden with some professors, and we did, for example, experiments where it was really cool. When you take CBD, when you take human cells, living human cells, and they are inflamed, when we add just pure CBD, we saw a reduction with the inflammasome for the reduction on the cell swelling of 30%, and the cell death took up to 64 times longer before they died. And we then did an experiment with CBG and other cannabinoids, and one of them is example CBG, and the cell swelling reduced by 23%, and then the cell death took to 30 to 35 times. So there was really an interesting experiment with human cells. And but one of the things is also, what I mentioned, is other enzymes, cannabinoids, everything has an influence. Like you say, pancreas, liver. For example, when I've got somebody's got a liver problem and they don't produce enough enzymes or proper other problem, or have got viruses in their system, THCV, by the way, with varine, is very good about against viruses, by the way, and very good for your lymphatic system, by the way. And what we see with medical thermography, we have got also a clinic where we offer medical thermography since 2009. And I educated over the world about all those kind of medical technologies. And what we see with lymphatics, with women, with the breast, when you see inflammation a lot, especially on the sides, and when you take 3-4 weeks CBD oil, 5 to 10%, then you see a minimum 50% reduction of the inflammation in the lymphatic system in the breast.
So,
And
sorry to interrupt you for a second. When you say CBD oil, are you also referring to the same Rick Simpson method, or is this?
No, pure. I talk now about experiments, what I did myself from 2008 till 2018 or so in our clinic.
Okay.
With certain cannabinoids, you know, like CBN is like 3-4 years now, and CBC also like 3-4 years now. And now we are doing experiments with people with migraine, and also for sleeping, and with a sleeping clinic, we use combinations of cannabinoids based on this research what is done in the Wageningen University. And so we're trying also to combine things, but in that time, only pure CBD in the pure form was used for the thermography screenings, and for the laboratory analysis that we use CBG and CBD and CBN separately as an isolate, as a pure form, just to see what it is, because it's conducted for medical research. They want to know what it does separately and when you combine them. And for example, CBN was only like 10% reduction of the inflammasome, but
Mhm.
the inflammation. But when you take the blood, when they take living blood, and there was the CRP was high with the inflammation in the body. How do I explain this in English? I have to think. I speak 4 languages, but I have to switch sometimes. But when you take CBN, for example, the blood inflammation reduced a lot. And what I see also in, we do a lot of hypothalamus treatment. Hypothalamus is in a gland in your brain, and they can have brain nuclear disturbances by eating disorders, anorexia, anxiety, anxiety to go on the road or between people and so on. And for example, with CBG, we saw a lot of improvements for the long-term and old anxieties, and the CBD is more acute. And when you take it a long time, CBG in high dosages, like 5 to 10%, like 3 times 5 drops a day, we saw a really good improvement in the valuations back in the blood, what is made by the hypothalamus, hypophysis on hormonal levels. But there's a conducting research what will take another 1 or 2 years, and we now try to combine and take other cannabinoids, what it does in the blood. But it's a conducting research for the long term. But CBG, we see a lot of effect, and I'm a very, very big fan of CBG.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I see how passionate you are about what you're doing, and that's fascinating. And I just want to ask some of the other audience members here, because we've already gone through our time, but we're going to extend our session for a few more minutes. But I see Not THC. How are you doing, sir? And ma'am, how are you doing? Where are you based?
We're good, thanks. We're based in Leeds in the UK. I know you said yourself you're in the UK as well.
Okay, superb. Tell us more about what you do.
Yeah, so Not THC, we've been operating for 11 months now. And we white label a few different products of oils, sprays, CBD tea, and cosmetic lotion. The tea and the lotion are clinically proven benefits. There's scientific data to go with those, so we marketed as that. And with the CBD oils, we've got 4 different flavors. And the concentrations vary from 2.5% up to 5%. That's kind of the current product portfolio we're operating under. And I think our berry oil has been our most popular product to date, followed by the tea.
And what are your price points, just so people can understand? What are the price points that you sell things at? What is like the retail?
Yes, of course.
So it vary from £9.50, which is for the tea, up to £33.50, which is for the cosmetic lotion.
Okay, great. So leave your contact details on the chat box. And I'm just saying, are you allowed to export your products out of the UK, or are you just selling within the UK itself?
Yes, we export out of the UK as well. I know there was some kerfuffle to do with Brexit, and that's why there's kind of issues with them with importing and exporting. But so far, we've not had any issues with our exporting.
Yeah, as long as the recipient country is, fine with it or whatever else.
Yeah, CBD is legal in the recipient country. Yeah, that's it.
So I don't know if there's any head shops over here. Are there any head shops that would like to tell us something about what are the product they're buying? I see some hemp shops. Any stores, any retailers around that would like to talk about more about what products they're looking to source? Anybody? Please go ahead.
About CBD oils or anything else? Or
yeah, sure. Hemki, why don't you tell us more about what you do again?
Okay, I will introduce myself. My name is Kübra. I am the owner of Hemki. Hemki, we are based in Turkey, and we are doing hemp shoes, bags, belts, and all the textiles like shorts, shirts, etc. I'll show you some of our products. So this is the hemp shoes, 100% of hemp. We have 4 more colors. This is the taba.
So what are the benefits? The benefits of being a hemp shoe, is it more with the antibacterial properties, or what are all the benefits that you could tell some of the audience over here?
Yes, our shoes allows your feet to breathe. This antibacterial, anti-allergic, and is absorb moisture and prevents perspiration. And is resistant. You cannot. I mean, how can I say? Even if you how can I say?
So what are the price points of the shoe?
So this one is 469 Turkish lira. It means 46.50 euros.
And is that the retail price?
Yes.
Okay. So
I mean, we are selling at this price. Sorry.
Okay, so that's wholesale.
Yes.
Okay, so if anybody here has a store, would want to find out more about Hempkeep, leave your contact details. So we're just going to come towards the end of our webinar now. Is there anyone else who would like to add something before we end? Any words of wisdom?
I want to say just a little bit minute for. I just want to introduce our soap as well. This is a hemp soap, 100% of hemp soap. We are doing this in Turkey, and we're selling this as well. But the price is not finished yet. We are doing R&D about this soap. And
great. I think so. I mean, leave your contact details and information so other people here can find out and contact you. I mean, there's definitely a possibility and ways out for trade. Obviously there's some items that can't be done, but but moving towards the end of our webinar, I would like to thank everybody who was here. It was really nice and exciting to see so many people from all parts of the world. Feel Good Alternative. I have a question for you. Are you about your product as well, like your balms? Are you just selling in America, or are you selling it overseas as well?
Looking to get into overseas markets. Currently just in America though.
Okay, so leave your contact details as well. Anyone else who's got a shop can contact you, or see, the main idea of our webinars is to basically have informal discussions where people can like lose guard and just talk, because that's how business happens. But business is all about relationships, and we've seen this with our other events that we do, that when people talk, they get to know each other, automatically things happen, and everyone being in the same industry, there's obviously so much of synergy that can happen, and obviously with things opening up, I mean, right now the market is at this is what's happening in the market. These are the laws, but I mean, I just see more of the cannabis market opening up. Obviously they're putting more legislations, but it is opening up and opening up and opening up, and there's more people that are fighting for rights and things. So I see Onika over here. Onika is one of our, you've been really silent. Can you tell us, like, what did you think about today's webinar? Any thoughts?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how you doing?
Great to see you.
Yeah, I really like the hemp key shoes.
Thank you.
I'm a fashion designer, and I love to chat with you about that. To go more and further depth with you, I'm a fashion designer.
Okay. I will send all the details in the direct message, and if you can send me an email, I'll send my email too. If you can send me an email, and we will discuss after the conference.
That'd be great, because I mean, I see a lot of people like your shoes. So hemp,
thank you very much.
I mean, I can see it in stores all around the world, and so be in touch with people. And Feel Good Alternative, you said you want to say something?
I was just kind of trying to get some feedback on what people thought about Delta 8. I don't sell it or put it in the products or anything. We don't mess with it at all. So, and I see a lot of companies going over this Delta 8. It's Delta 8 THC. it's like a alternative to
Synthetic.
Delta 9.
I
Yeah.
will say, I think it's terrible. I'll just put it
Yeah.
out there. I think it's down a slippery slope.
I agree.
Yeah, so I'm in the retail business with the Texas farmers, and they're doing their first crop and they're trying to survive. And a lot of them got into the Delta 8, and it's just not good. It's not good for the industry overall. It is synthetic. No one knows what's really in it, and they're putting it on like this meticulously grown hemp plant to make a buck. And it's really, a lot of people are getting their Square accounts are getting shut off, Venmo, PayPal. Everyone's getting shut down if they have anything listed on their website or in their inventory. When they make a sale that says Delta 8, they're getting shut down here in our market.
Yeah, I was gonna say for any license holders or anybody's holding anything out there, don't play with it. They haven't hit it yet, but they're gonna do a major sweep in a lot of places. Sounds like Texas is already on it, but
yeah.
So for those people who don't know about Delta 8, maybe you could just explain a little more about what it means. Like in my understanding, it's what? It's like another chemically, synthetically made. Is that right?
Pretty sure they like manipulate the cannabinoid profile into that. So they synthetically change it. I'm not sure exactly how they do it. I don't know if anybody else has more detail. Jenny, it looks like.
well, it's not Delta 9, so it's not intoxicating. It has some of the properties of Delta 9, but it's I'm not exactly sure. I 3 or 4 years ago I was looking at it, and when it was being extracted, I don't think at the level at the manipulation it's being done now. I think it's just another way of identifying something that's a little closer to Delta 9 in the plant. But I think Chris would have a much better grasp on it than I would.
Well, I appreciate that. It's so new, like as in what people are discussing. But I think it was Leafly who just did a pretty big article that one of their writers, researchers, they did find it having that psychoactive intoxication, which makes it really dangerous, because it's like, are we now crossing over not only with a non, plant product synthetic into the THC that's being sold under Farm Bill regulations, which does that do to the industry? And two, how do you maintain the safety for the patient? I go back to that. There's just not enough about it, and everything I've read, it's not good.
I would say, like, being from more on the urban side, it's more of a fad over here, and people don't understand that, like, it's not the same thing. So wherever I go, I know I get a lot of questions like, do I sell Delta 8? No. Do I sell vapes? No, because if anything, I'm more of a holistic CBD brand versus just selling a CBD just to say I sell CBD because it's in right now. And I think that's like a big confusion. And that's why I want to do a lot more training and education for myself, so that way I can educate them as well.
I will tell you, it's on like the top of the list right now for us to get not only more blog posts out, but just information, because it's a big topic. Kind of where it's probably 4 years ago now, there was a lot of the CB infused, I'm going to mispronounce it, the SIZUPs, the codeine kind of syrups, that there were companies that were making so much money off a product that could just be so catastrophically dangerous, but it hit that market share, right? So, some people will go for that just to get the bang for the buck. And that's where kind of when we started this conversation is that, yes, the Farm Bill helped a lot of us, but it was so opened up that it allowed for so many just not reputable players to get into it, which is, it makes it harder for people, listening to, both New York and California sides. And now you're out of Brooklyn, you said, is that correct? Is that where you are? And like Illmatic?
No, I'm in Queens.
Okay. So, but, it's interesting just again, from state to state, what's required on training, education, to what products are allowed, what ailments are supported. It's just, you know, it's complex. Let's just leave it at that.
And there's a lot of people out there who are just in this to purely make money.
Yeah.
And they're not really interested in putting out a quality product. And that's one of the reasons why education is really important, because it helps bring the standard up higher, and it provides more outlets for quality business to be done. I mean, why take such a beautiful plant and manipulate it when it's already good enough, you know? So I think the Delta 8 is one of those things where, you know, anybody who knows the difference, has that education, would make a better choice.
One question I think kind of to everybody in the room, and I'm just curious, was it a patient? Was it personal story? I mean, was it, yeah, like the raise of hands, was it that one story from a person, whether it's a family member, that changed your whole tune on cannabis?
For me, it was personal. I met someone online and they were selling a CBD tea. So the question was how much CBD was actually in it. So once we did more research, it wasn't that much CBD. So they were just making money just off of a name. So I know I wanted to give quality products. So that's why I don't sell anything that isn't natural or USDA certified as of right now. And I recently got into a car accident and I got whiplash, and I have not gone to therapy because I've been using my CBD oils, and they call me every day, like, when are you coming? And I'm like, I don't feel anything, but because I use my topicals, I use the oils, and I tell people my personal story, but as far as like new clients or customers, I don't tell them because I don't want them to think that I'm just, you know, just advocating my own brand, because that's not it. You know, I don't force anyone to try Omatic, you know, but, you know, I do try to find out if they do have like any kind of underlining additional issues, because it's not just CBD that's going to save it. You know, it has to be a whole life-changing decision, the way you live, what you eat, and so on and so forth.
Just to get another perspective, sorry to move a little off topic because we've already ran short, we're already out of time, but I see We Transact Limited. I just wanted to ask you, you said you do a lot of transactions, banking for the cannabis industry?
That's correct, yeah. So I got into it accidentally, even though I've been very, very pro sort of cannabis over the years, without obviously going into too much details. Yeah. In 2016, 2017, I wanted to buy a CBD product, yeah, online. And I couldn't find anyone that was actually, or many of these online businesses actually accepting card payments. Then I had a light bulb moment. So although I had the card payments business, so the way we work is we're consultants and brokers. Yeah, we work alongside many different card processors, typically within Europe and UK. Not many card processors will accept CBD at the moment, unfortunately. But I had that light bulb moment, and then I approached a number of the card processors that we were already connected with and says, look, have you ever considered CBD? And said, what's CBD? Right, okay, so we and my team started educating the underwriters of these banks that we worked with. Yeah, so now they accept CBD card payments.
Mm-hmm.
This space is it's challenging. You guys already know this. Yeah, it's confusing. Again, you guys already know this as well. And it's changing. The novelty food license, I think it's a good thing, but it's ridiculously expensive. Is it a money-making scheme? That's a different story. Yeah, I question these things a lot. So, but it is what it is, unfortunately, guys. Yeah. So
are you based in the UK? You're based in the UK?
We're based in the UK, yes.
And do you only work with, you said you work with companies from all over the world, or is it just UK-based companies?
Typically Europe, banks. The UK banks, if you're looking at Barclaycard, WorldPay, if that means anything to you guys at all. These guys, because it's not legal, these are US banks, because it's not legal at the federal level, they won't allow it. Obviously, that PayPal don't allow CBD, Stripe, Shopify, they don't allow CBD. So we had to go to extra lengths to find card processors, educate them on the pros and cons, the legalities, and so on and so on. But it's still very challenging. For example, now in the UK, the 0.2% THC is pretty much being abolished now, and they're pushing more closer to the zero THC. Is it really going to make much of a difference to move it from 0.2 to 0? I think it's an absolute load of nonsense. So again, it is challenging. We are requesting lab test results from every retailer that wishes to accept card payments for their CBD business, and that in itself is a challenge.
What are your charge? Like, do you take like if Stripe takes like 2%, 2.3%, what are your percentage on how much percent on a transaction fee do you take to cover all the risk?
Okay, if it's going to be a new startup business that's got no card processing history, we would typically, it will go around sort of 2%, but we can be very, very flexible. Because CBD is labeled as high risk, you're unfortunately then penalized with those high risk fees. So because I'm very pro CBD, look, we don't want to be in the business of ripping off people. So if it's a business that's got processing history, you're going to be closer to maybe around sort of 1%, 1.5%. So we are very, very competitive. But
1.5% is even better than Stripe.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely. So hence the reason why we've won so much business. It's about educating the people that come through the door. The inquiries that come through the website, the inquiries that come through the phones, etc., etc. Okay, it's understand their business. What are your plans? Who are you selling through to? What are your marketing plans? Then you understand, are they in it for the long run? Are they very pro CBD? Because a lot of these inquiries that we get through, unfortunately, they're just in it to make a quick buck. But you're going to get that.
So why don't you leave your contact information on the chat box? Very interesting words that you shared with us today. And I'm just sorry we're short of time. We've already gone way past our time,
Of course,
But just, before we end today, I just want to say once again, I just want to just 2 minutes more, just tell you a little bit about Fahionablyin. And firstly, thank you all. It's been great to see so many perspectives from so many different parts of the world. Fascinating to, and like I mentioned, we at Fahionablyin, we're a virtual trade show platform. We basically connect people in different industries. We've been doing it for many years. This is our first one into cannabis. I think we've done a decent job by bringing a bunch of people here. And so we're specialists in connecting companies with like giving them an alternative to a trade show. So when you go to a trade show, primarily you want to meet buyers, people who buy a product. You'd want to meet sales agents, people who can sell your product for you, like someone who would like a reseller. And you'd want to meet like press, someone who'd give you a good story. So you pretty much need these three contacts, and that's why you do trade shows. So we pretty much do give you the same contacts virtually. So we'd help you grow your business by getting you more contacts, more buyers, more leads, more agents, in a very personalized way. We've been doing this service for many years with customers from all over the world. So if anybody's looking to expand their business or anything, please hit us up at Fahionablyin. We can run you through, we can even give you a demo, can show you what we do. But before we end, before we end, does anybody else would like to say something, anything, any words of wisdom? Pantry, I mean, I'm fascinated with your distribution. I think any words of wisdom that you'd like to tell the audience or someone who'd see this recording later?
Just said, have a passion, follow your passion, stay the course, educate yourself, and be prepared to work hard.
Anybody else want to say something quickly before we end? Some of the other people that haven't spoken, this is your chance to introduce yourself before we close for the.
Yeah, I'd like to make a point. Just sell good quality products, guys. Yeah, it's a massive problem. It is a big problem. We very, very quickly, we had an agent from the US. He says, do you guys want a list of about 4,000 US CBD retailers? I said, yeah, why not? But why are you passing them through to me? Oh, they got terminated. Why did they get terminated? Oh, because the FDA did mystery shopping there, and what they established was that there was high THC or there's no CBD in the product whatsoever. Come on. Yeah, come on. There's morals, have ethics. Yeah, to sell good quality products to genuinely help people. Yeah, and this plant is phenomenal at doing that.
Okay, great. Anybody else would like to say something before we end?
Happy 420.
Happy 420. Thank you.
Yes.
Happy 420.
Happy 420. Thanks for
Happy
hosting us.
420, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Take
Nice
care.
to meet you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Thank you all for being here.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.